Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Alleged Westmoreland child molester now in police custody. Portmore municipality being blamed for traffic congestion following opening of Price Mart. In sports, reggae girls seeded in pot 3 for final round of World Cup qualifiers. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. We begin with a TVJ News follow-up. The man accused of molesting 2 children in Negril, Westmoreland is now in police custody. He was picked up during an operation last night in the Whithorn area. Preparations are being made for him to be questioned. The 29-year-old man is accused of molesting his 5-year-old sister and his 2-year-old niece. The incident reportedly happened last Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The 2 children have been admitted to hospital. The Portmore Municipal Corporation has come under scrutiny for what is being described as its failure to address the traffic problems along Brayton Parkway. It followed a last-minute meeting on Tuesday evening after chaos ensued on the road as Price Mart opened its Portmore club. Kelisha Williams has that story.
The prediction, a TVJ News special report in February.
Into the Easter holiday, it's going to be chaos for us inside here.
But the road is bad. We need it to be widened as soon as possible.
Fast forward to April 12, Price Mart opened in Portmore. We were told the traffic extended to as far as the Emmanuel Church, about 300 meters away from Price Mart.
Normally the traffic build-up at this time is not normal. So I could see that something was wrong coming down from Portmore Pines.
On Tuesday evening, the corporation, the police, and the operators of Price Mart were locked in a meeting to discuss the way forward in controlling congestion on Brayton Parkway. It sparked concerns that the authorities are too reactive.
Widening the road, the space is there for normal expansion. The scheme was built, and see it going all over to that canal there. And if improvement is done, we could have almost freeway here in every direction.
But according to Mayor of Portmore, Leon Thomas, the main problem was persons parking along the busy road across the entrance of Price Mart.
Price Mart management asked us if the staff could park outside for just today. So we grant them the permission for them to park today outside. But what we observe that giving them that permission for them to park one day, there's a lot of customers who join parking outside, and it really caused a problem.
Now they have to scrap those plans.
To have everybody park on the property of Price Mart, and if there's a need for any expansion of parking area, the Portmore City Municipality have lands that are adjacent to Price Mart that we are going to look on to accommodate that. In the meantime, Price Mart management is looking at overhead parking.
Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
Calm has been restored in northwestern St. Anne. This follows days of protests in the parish over poor road conditions. Shamela Pullen has this TVJ News follow-up.
To discuss the poor road problems in northwestern St. Anne, residents, taxi and bus operators did not hold back as they blasted officials for years of neglect.
5 years. This road from Discovery Bay to Maple, center of the country, right? And we have a road from here to Maple.
In the firing line was a Member of Parliament, Crystal Lee, who made this promise.
On July 21, 2021, when Minister Warmington came and visited our constituency, he did commit to fixing the Runaway Bay to Brownstown, fully rehabilitating the Runaway Bay to Brownstown Road in 2 phases, which would be approximately $300 million based on the first estimate that we got from the National Works Agency. And they were not aware of this, which is quite to my surprise. And also, I have expressed to them that even though we would like to have all the roads, being a carpet and fully paved off, unfortunately, we cannot commit to doing all the others right now.
There have been ongoing protests in the area for the bad roads. The police say their resources have been stretched.
So for the past 2 days, we have been having a severe challenge in treating with this protest up in Dumbarton especially. So we know a lot of people have been inconvenienced for the past 2 days, especially the students that fly this road to Brownstown. But I'm very pleased with the resolution of the meeting.
Now that they have had dialogue with their political representative, the residents say no more roadblocks, but
when it comes to voting time, she not fresh, she can fold her foot so. Yeah, like Xavier May. Yes, when voting time comes, Xavier May fold his foot and do on so. And the people cheer for him. They say you not have to worry. Your seat is here same way. You have to hold your seat.
So you're encouraging her to do what?
Do our work. So we not have to block the road again on the school. They don't have to get go at time. Black in and black out so they can get to go to school. We know say wrong. We know say wrong to block the road. We know say wrong. And we know say the police only we can get charged. But at the end of the day, this is what we have to do. If we get answer.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
And the St. Anne Police says it will be on the lookout for events that were not granted a permit for the Easter holiday weekend. As Sandy Williams reports, law enforcers will also be maintaining a presence at permitted events to ensure stipulated protocols are being observed.
With just one more day before the start of the Easter holidays, promoters and patrons are gearing up for the weekend-long events. But they aren't the only ones. The St. Anne Municipal Corporation says it's looking forward to the planned celebrations.
So we are prepared. I know that St. Anne is going to be flooded on the basis of the inquiries that are being made by the promoters. What I can tell you, though, is that I know the police had a meeting last week with the large promoters of these events. The senior superintendent convened a meeting and he expressed that to me.
We try to at least reinforce what the law says as it relates to these events. So we went through the Noise Abatement Act and the party promoters were advised and informed as it relates to the proceeding that need to be adopted around these events. Of course, there are some decisions that we have taken, and some of those decisions include those areas which are dubbed hotspots in this division. And some of those places are places where we have had multiple crimes, especially murders.
Head of the St. Anne Police, Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, emphasized that no permits will be granted in crime-plagued communities in an effort to ensure a safe environment for residents. He added that there will be consequences for those responsible for hosting events without permission.
Any unpermitted event will be severely and strictly dealt with. And so I'm advising them to desist in terms of the unpermitted events. The law is clear, so it covers both the promoters and the persons who are in attendance in terms of breaches. So all persons that are found in breach will be prosecuted.
According to the police, several mega events are slated to take place during the period, including Marco Polo, the Ocho Rios Carnival, and the Dover Race Day. SSB Powell says law enforcers will be dispatched to the events to ensure the protocols established in the meeting with the promoters are maintained. Meanwhile, a reminder that the municipality has slashed the fees for permits by 50%.
We are trying to put all of these promoters and the people who are trying to create an investment back into real operations. So for the next 6 months, we'll be holding it at the 50% cost until we are all back on our feet. Then we go back to the normal, which is the regular cost for these events.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Opposition spokesman on energy and mining, Philip Paulwell, is proposing a fixed bauxite levy regardless of the price of aluminum.
Once this is done, don't grant any more concessions. Once you turn the soil, you pay the levy. You pay the levy. And for heaven's sake, let us not go back into any profit-sharing arrangements. You are not going to see much profits. Secondly, Madam Speaker, let us establish a special fund where you put the bauxite levy and the royalties together, and you focus that fund on spending back money, reinvesting in the communities.
In September last year, the government said it reintroduced the Bauxite levy with Concord Resources Limited, which acquired 49% shares in New Day Aluminum. The opposition described it as a bad deal. In the meantime, Mr. Powell also used the sectoral debate to suggest a partnership with bauxite companies to use the railway system to transport goods. A tree planting project for mined-out lands should also be developed, and the government could partner with Alpar to transform Port Kaiser into a major logistics hub.
It has deep sea all around it. Those large Chinese vessels can come there. They can't go to the North Coast. They can't go to Kingston, but they can go to Port Kaiser. And the Member of Parliament, I'm sure, would be quite happy if that were to happen.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Over 19,000 students have registered for the Sixth Form Pathways program. It allows students to spend 2 additional years in high school to get certified for the job market. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Education Minister Favour Williams said students would also have access to other school-based services, such as subsidies and nutritional support.
Across all the Sixth Form programs, the traditional Pathways 2 and 3, a total of 19,000 students registered this academic year. This is an increase. This is an increase of 8,194 students so far, Madam Speaker. We are pleased that our children are responding to this.
In the meantime, the minister is urging persons to use the 211 Child Helpline to report child abuse.
Since the 211 helpline was launched, a total of 94,964 calls have come in. There is clearly acceptance of this helpline. However, we still have a lot more to do in terms of resourcing it, given the large number, the volume of calls that have come in.
The People's National Party PNP Minority Caucus of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation on Tuesday passed a resolution for the National Water Commission, NWC, to repair all outstanding damaged roads across Kingston and St. Andrew within 3 months. The resolution, which was moved by Councillor for the Brandon Hill Division, Gareth Walker, sought to institute a fixed timeline between the completion of repairs and the restoration of the road surface. In the resolution, the councillor said while restoration of the roads cannot be done immediately, a period of 1 year to leave open trenches along the public thoroughfare is unacceptable. The resolution also called for the municipality to establish and insist on an agreed timeline for the restoration of all future works. An operation is underway in Malvern, St. Elizabeth, in search of men who went on a murder and robbery spree early this morning. 2 unidentified men were killed and a bar burglarized. The female bartender who lives at the location was assaulted and raped by the robbers. According to reports, sometime after midnight, men armed with guns removed the grill to a bar where they stole several gaming boxes. On leaving the bar, the men fatally shot a man along the New Malvern Road. Another victim was killed on the Ivory Cottage Road. The latest incident brings the number of persons killed in St. Elizabeth since Sunday to 6 and 14 since the start of the year. And for the Business Minute, here's Codian Barrett.
In the world of business, the Financial Services Commission, FSC, has launched a new supervisory framework to guide and assess risk in Jamaica's non-deposit-taking financial institutions. The FSC says the risk-based supervision, RBS framework, should enhance the FSC's technical capabilities and agility in regulating and supervising the insurance, securities, and private pension sectors. In business internationally, prices are rising at their fastest rate for 30 years, driven by a sharp increase in petrol and diesel cost. The UK inflation rate rose to 7% in the year to March, the highest rate since 1992, and up from 6.2% in February. Prices are rising faster than wages, and there is pressure on the government to do more to help those struggling. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Codian Barrett.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we'll look at hernias in children.
It can lead to loss of school days, loss of time, being comfortable at home, at play, and even disturbance of sleep. So it is worthwhile identifying children who are at risk of developing hernias, worthwhile diagnosing children who actually have hernias, and also do something about it.
That's a health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Maintain an ideal body weight by eating a healthy diet and exercising. Eat enough fruits, vegetables, and whole grain to avoid constipation. Use correct form when lifting weights or heavy objects. And see a doctor when you are ill with persistent coughs or sneezing.
And the time now for the top regional and international stories with Sandy Williams.
In regional news, Premier of Nevis Mark Brantley is warning visitors to the island to not abuse the generous hospitality. The warning follows a very disturbing video circulating on social media. The video, which has been shared more than 56,000 times so far, shows children running a relay race on a beach when a seemingly disgruntled white woman objected to their activities. The young woman was later seen lying on the sand in protest to prevent the children from continuing their race. In a statement regarding the incident, Premier Brantley said all beaches on the island of Nevis are public property and therefore free for the use and enjoyment of all members of the public. He added that the behavior exhibited on the video is unacceptable and offensive and must be condemned unreservedly. On the international scene, 5 soldiers were killed in an attack by suspected armed group possibly linked to ISIS or Al-Qaeda in a national park in the north of Benin Republic. According to 2 military sources, the attack on Monday also wounded several soldiers who were being treated at a nearby hospital. The incident occurred at the Penjari National Park, where an army convoy struck an improvised explosive device. The incident is the latest in the string of deadly attacks in northern Benin, where groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the ISIS armed group have spilled over from neighboring Burkina Faso, the epicenter of conflict in the Sahel and Niger. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Simon Preston will have your midday sports report.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. The Reggae Girls have been seeded in Pot 3 for the 2022 CONCACAF Women's Championship draw set for April 19. This means that the Jamaicans will face one of USA or Canada and one of Mexico or Costa Rica in the group stages. The Jamaicans will also face either Haiti or Trinidad and Tobago. The CONCACAF Women's Championship is set to run from July 4 to 18 in Monterrey, Mexico, where the top 2 teams from each group will qualify for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and in New Zealand. The 2 third-place teams from each group will head to the Intercontinental Playoffs. Jamaica qualified for the final round of World Cup qualifying after topping Group C of the preliminaries. Across the Atlantic we go now, as 6-time winners Liverpool will be looking to advance to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League as they face Benfica at Anfield this afternoon. Liverpool leads 3-1 from the first leg in Portugal. Kick-off is at 2 o'clock Jamaica time. In the other quarter-final on the day, Manchester City battles Atletico Madrid, also at 2 o'clock. City leads 1-0 from the first leg. Real Madrid and Villarreal are already through to the semi-finals of the competition. The defending champions Chelsea were eliminated on Tuesday by Madrid. And finally this afternoon, Jamaica's women's lacrosse team have been drawn in Group A of the Women's Lacrosse World Cup to face Wales, Latvia, Germany and Uganda. The Jamlax girls will be making their debut in the Women's World Cup after finishing 3rd in the Americas Championship in 2019. The top 2 teams from each group will advance to the quarterfinals of the competition. The 2022 Lacrosse World Cup is set to run from June 29 to July 9 in Towson, Maryland in the United States. Jamaica's only other appearance in an international women's lacrosse event was the Under-19 World Cup in Canada in 2019. And that is it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. O'Shane, it's over to you.
Thanks, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm O'Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.